Hello everyone, welcome back to our English Dharma class. And today in this session, we are going to discuss about the Six Paramita. In English, it's called the Sixth Perfection. What is the Sixth Perfection? It is the practice of Bodhisattva. It is the practice of the path to lead from self-liberations and to help other people to liberate. In this practice is not just for our own liberation or not just for the other people's liberation. It's the practice of both liberation. So that's why in the practice of the Six Paramita, the Bodhisattva is looking for self-liberation at the same time to help other people. And what is the meaning of Paramita? The Buddha said, do not just hope for the other shore to come to you. If you want to cross over to the other shore, the shore of safety, well-being, non-fear, and non-anger, you have to swim or row across to the other shore. You have to put in effort, and this effort is the practice of Paramita. So the practice of Paramita is for one to, from this shore of suffering, to reach to the other shore of peacefulness, calmness, and sincerity. So Parama means the noblest, highest, or most excellent. Paramita means the most excellent virtues or the noblest qualities of the Bodhisattva. Paramitas can be translated as perfect or perfect realization. The Chinese character used for paramita, called the du, means crossing over to the other shore, which is the shore of peace, non-fear, freedom, harmony, good relationship, and liberation. So this is the definition of paramita, crossing from one shore to the other shore to reach to the state of perfection. So, six paramita. What are the six paramita? In Sanskrit, the first paramita is called the Dana Paramita. The second is called the Shila Paramita. The third, Kanti Paramita. The fourth, Vijaya Paramita. The fifth, Dhyana Paramita. The sixth, Prajna Paramita. So when this Sanskrit translates into English, it's called the six perfections. And these perfections, the six perfections are: first, giving; second, precepts; third, endurance; fourth, diligence; five, meditation; and six, wisdom. So now we are going to explain these perfections of paramita one by one. The first one, the paramita of dana, the perfections of giving. Dana means giving or offering one's possessions with pure mind for the welfare of others. Two main objectives of practicing dana. First, to subdue the immoral thoughts of selfishness, greediness, or excessive craving which create suffering in samsara. Second, develop the meritorious thoughts of selflessness, doing service to others. The deepest level of a perfect action of giving is the conscience of emptiness. No giver, no gifts, and no recipients. So in this practice of dana, the perfections of giving, is a giving of a mind of emptiness. It's not a giving by expecting to return of something. When we give things to others, there's no self. There's no such thing, and there's no persons to give to. And that is the perfections of giving. So if we have the mind of non-self, we won't have the mind of expecting somebody to give back something to us, because there's no self already. And that's the objective of giving. And also we do not crave for anything to return. So there's no attachment as well. So when we practice this dana paramita, we're always in the mind of selflessness and also in the mind of emptiness. There's no me, there's no give, and there's no you. And that's the perfections of giving. The second professions, or the second paramita, is the Sila Paramita, the professions of precepts. Sila is morality, good conduct, or the observance of precepts. Sila is the foundation of all the meritorious deeds, because good behavior is the beginning of the life of purity. Without Sila, there's no samadhi, which is the concentration or meditation. Through lack of samadhi, prajna or spiritual advancement cannot be achieved. Observing precepts helps one to be mindful and be in peace. Sila, a lot of people misunderstood Sila, precepts. A lot of people thought that precepts is something that ties us up, but actually this is not true. Precepts is something to remind us. We're not supposed to kill, but if we do not have something to guide us, we might intentionally hurt other people. But if we have something to guide us, like the precepts, when we are doing anything, we will be mindful. We won't simply do something to hurt other people. So Sila is a guideline to us. Sila is not a chain that tied us up. Sila is to help us to have the mind of concentration, samadhi. Because with samadhi, we are able to cultivate our prajna in our mind. So Sila to all practitioners, not just Bodhisattva, including the Buddhist monks and nuns, everybody needs to practice Sila. It's just like the traffic light. We need to obey the rules of the traffic light. When it's red, we need to stop. If we don't stop, we will have car crash or we will hit on other people. And Sila plays a very important role. The next paramita, the paramita of Khanti, the perfections of endurance. Khanti literally means patient, endurance, forbearance. It is the endurance of suffering caused by others, the capacity of receive, embrace, and transform. To defeat our pain is not the teachings of endurance. We have to receive it, embrace it, and most important, transform it. The Buddha said that if one arrow strikes you, you will suffer. But if a second arrow hits you in the same spot, you will suffer 100 times more. Endurance to a lot of people seems like a weakness. A person will endure because this person is weak. But in Buddhism, it's not true. The greatest person with the greatest courage have the greatest power of endurance. We endure the suffering that caused by other people to us. We understand this suffering. We understand the cause of suffering. We embrace it. We accept it. And most important, we transform it. We face with a lot of challenge in this world, from our working challenge, family challenge, relationship challenge, many kinds of challenge. And this challenge, sometimes we cannot avoid it. We have to face it. When we face it, we can face with an anger mind, a defilement mind. But look into it. We are already facing so many challenges. But if we're still unable to let go of it, we still hold an anger mind, we are hurting ourselves more. So that's why in Buddhism, or in the practice of Six Paramitas, it tells us to endure, to face the challenging situation. We understand it, we receive it, we embrace it, and we transform it. And how do we transform it? We transform our mind. We transform our mind whereby we do not react to this negative energy in a negative way. We endure it by using the positive way. We endure it by transforming ourselves to a positive attitude in order to face all kinds of challenge. We can't escape from all this challenge, but we can face it with a strength of endurance. And that is the practice of the Khanti, the perfection of endurance. The next paramita, we're talking about the paramita of Vijja, the perfections of diligence. Vijaya literally means effort or energy. Vijaya is to defeat want, habits or laziness, and excuses. Vijaya is to treasure every moment of life. One will never try to escape from his day-to-day activities by giving his numerous reasons such as cold, hot, or rain. Monk Gautama told the Mara, who advised him to give up his effort. And the Buddha said, "Death in battle with passion is more honorable to me than a life of defeats." Which means that in our life, we have to live a living. We have to understand life. But understanding life is not an easy task. It's just like doing meditation is not easy. A lot of time when we want to do meditation, we will give ourselves a lot of excuses, such as the weather is cold, the weather is hot, it is raining, such as today the traffic is no good, today I have a lot of things to do. So we decided not to go for meditation. A lot of excuse. We can create a lot of excuse. And why we create all these excuses is because of our habit of laziness. So this laziness help us to bring back our habits of excuse. And that's why a lot of things we are unable to complete it. And in this paramita, it tells us that if we want to know the truth of life, if we want to liberate out from this circle of birth and death, if we want to be liberate out from the feeling of suffering, we have to be diligent. We have to give ourselves energy and effort in ourselves to tell ourselves that we have to do this thing because I'm not earning a money. I'm really looking for the meaning of life. How am I supposed to be happy if I don't look for it? If I want to look for it, of course, I need to put in effort to look for it. And that's why practice needs effort and energy. And this effort and energy comes from diligence. The next paramita is the dhyana paramita, the perfections of meditation. Dhyana, or meditation, consists of two aspects. The first, samatha, and vipassana. Samatha is stopping. It is the practice of calming our body and emotional mind through the practice of mindful breathing, mindful walking, and mindful sitting. It is the practice of concentration. Vipassana is to look deeply, to see the true nature of things and oneself, which is ourselves. So samatha means stopping. When we do meditation, the first thing for us to do is to calm ourselves down. When we start to calm ourselves down, our thoughts will arise. Many thoughts will arise in our mind, from current to the past. And if a person that meditates for a long time, he can even remember about past life. But all these are thoughts. So samatha is to stop all these thoughts, to calm our body and emotional mind. And through this practice, we are able to focus. And how do we practice it? We practice by mindful breathing, either counting the number of breathing, or just observe the breathing in and out. We practice the mindful walking. Walking by focusing on every movement of the body. We are clear with all the movement and the stretchings of the muscles when we are walking. And mindful in sitting. When we sit down, we understand and we are mindful about the function of the body. How the eye function, how the ear function, how the nose function. We observe part by part of our body when we are sitting. So through this observation, we are practicing the concentration. We focus our mind into a point whereby we won't be disturbed by any thoughts that comes to our mind. The thoughts will still arise, but the thoughts will come and go because we are focusing in our breathing. we are focusing our parts of body. We are focusing in walking, the stretching of the muscle. And thoughts will just go off by itself. So this is called a samatha. The other one is the vipassana. Vipassana is to look deeply into our true nature of ourselves, our Buddha nature or our Deva nature. Vipassana is through meditation reach to a stage of samatha. When we reach to a stage of stopping of thoughts, clear in our mind, and we'll look into deeply in ourselves, our habit, our nature, and that's vipassana. So doing everything mindfully is the practice of meditation, as mindfulness always nourish concentration and understanding. If we are able to have the mind of concentration or meditation, we are aware of every movement, every word that comes out from our mouth, every thoughts that arise in our mind. We are aware of that. And when we are able to aware of everything happen in this body, we are able to be mindful in doing all kinds of things, including speaking. And that is the objective of the goodness of meditation. The last but not the least is the prajna paramita, the perfections of wisdom. What is prajna? Prajna is wisdom, right understanding, right view, or insight. It is not mere wisdom or knowledge, but it is the wisdom which leads to the complete realizations of truths. Prajna can be divided into two classes. First, mundane wisdom. It is the wisdom or the knowledge that we obtain in this phenomenal world. Second, supra-mundane wisdom. This state of wisdom can be developed with the realizations of the truth of this world. So prajna, in a way, is not completely wisdom. It is more than wisdom, that what we know. It is more than knowledge. It's not a knowledge. Prajna is something that we look truly, completely, deeply into the nature or the truth of life, into our own nature. So prajna, when we look into prajna, we don't look by using our eyes. We use our body, speech, and mind, and our focus into contemplating in this nature or this truth. So prajna, we can explain into two classes. One, mundane wisdom, things that we see around here. Things that we see around here, the books, the flower. We understand this is a book, this is a flower. We obtain this knowledge from our teacher, from our parents, from our lecturer, the senior ones. We obtain all this knowledge from them, and that's the mundane wisdom. The supra-mundane wisdom, which is the state of wisdom, can be developed through the realization of the truth. So we understand this book. This is a book, but this book is impermanent. Why is impermanent? It had ever been very new, but now it looks old. Maybe 500 years later, it will be all torn up, damaged. So it's not completely real. At the same time, is that it's not self. Why is not self? This book is a combination of many things to create this book. So this book does not have its own entity self. It's a combination of all conditions. So when we look into it, it's not great about this book, because this book has a lot of help in order to develop out this book. And that's why when we look at things, there's nothing great in this world, but at the same time, everything is very great in this world, because it's a combination of many conditions in order to have everything in front of us. But at the same time, when we look into it, all these things are not important, because the same thing is a combination of everything to have distinct existence. And when we look into it, if one day this book gets damaged, we will feel sad, but we won't feel that sad, because we won't attach to a thing that is not completely real, and that's not non-self. So today, I explained about what is the 6 paramita, and this 6 paramita is very important in our practice in Buddhism, because not just Bodhisattva practicing it, all Buddhist monastics has to practice this 6 paramita in order to help everybody, at the same time to help ourselves in our practice. And I hope that through this practice of 6 paramita, we are able to live to the stage of peacefulness, mindfulness, and also in the mind of compassion. Thank you very much.